So another edition of the Fatu Network News Review today, 19th November 2018. My name is Omar Wali. The spokesperson for the Gambia Armed Forces have denied allegations that there are corruption and sexual abuse by some senior military officers who are currently serving in a peacekeeping mission in the Sudanese Trouble region of Darfur. And the United Democratic Party also held a congress, but it did not end well. I can say they will be talking to the spokesperson, Almame Fandintal. The convention has been postponed till next week, and the University of the Gambia Student Week also is selected for January 2019. They had an interview in our studios today. We'll bring that interview as well. And I'll be talking to the Constitutional Review Commission's communications officer on their recent tour. And before all that, I will have to start with the papers, and that has to do with the Standard. Barrow vows to abolish death penalty. That is, the President Adama Barrow has vowed to abolish death penalty from the law books of the Gambia as soon as necessary legislation reaches signature. The latest commitment by President against the death penalty was conveyed by the government spokesperson Ibrahima Sankare, who told GRTS that President Barrow is of the view that the laws does not stop murder, manslaughter, or the likes. And when the mistakes occurred, examples like wrong people are executed, and this is going to be a very expensive mistake that is not repairable. Sankare said, quoting President Barrow, he further revealed that the President has a strong view that the Gambia should have removed the death penalty long since, and his government will ensure that it is taken long as soon as possible. Since the inception, the death penalty was used twice. That was in 1980. In 1980s, when Mustafa Danso, accused of multiple murders before and during the 1981 coup d'etat, he was executed and under President Jawara, and in 2012 under former President Yahya Jammeh, when 9 death row inmates were put to death by the state. And the single execution drew widespread criticism around the world, forcing Jammeh to announce a moratorium on the death penalty, but refused to commit himself to its total abolishment. And the GAF dismisses peacekeeping, sex abuse, and corruption allegations. We'll have that here. He had an interview with Lamin Jai, and a new law to make 80% of Gambian music on radios Gambia. That is, the Minister of Tourism and Culture, Hamad Ba, has revealed that the government is in close stages to introduce a new legislature regulations which will stipulate that at least 80% of all musics to be played on radio stations be Gambian. He added that this measure is part of the government's efforts to support the Gambian music industry and to redirect and refocus the Gambia's population towards the important values and virtues of their culture. The minister made this revelation in Banjul, where his minister presented a check of 400,000 to the organizing of 14 local organized community festivals across the country to assist them in their preparations. Army reassured victims of cooperation with the TRRC, that is, the Gambia Armed Forces, has issued a statement assuring that it is fully committed to support the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission. The Army's reaction came in response to concerns expressed by victims of November 11, 1994 aborted coup, who allege that 7 members of the Gambia Armed Forces are implicated in the atrocities connected to that event. The Gambia Armed Forces would like to assure the victims that they will support TRRC in case any of their personnel are involved or invited to testify in the newly constituted Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission. Dr. Ismaila Ceesay receives a prestigious Pan-African Award. Dr. Ismaila Ceesay, a political science lecturer at the University of the Gambia, has received a prestigious Pan-African Humanitarian Award of Excellence for excellence in social leadership and community impact during the 4th edition of the awards held in Rabat, Morocco, where he was a guest speaker. Organizers said the award recognized the bravest and the most daring as well as the most strategic, sound and forward-looking personality with memorable, measurable achievements in championing progressive and social economic development in Africa. That's what is on the Standard and on the Foroyaa newspaper. Foroyaa is reporting that paramilitary forces withdrawn from Garawal in the midst of unrest camp. That is a contingent of a police intervention unit sent to Fatoto were withdrawn from the Garawal on Friday, 16th of November 2018, after uneasy camp returned to the town. And the police sources said they were in the village since 10 a.m., but the situation had returned to normal and they did not see any need to stay there any further. And they departed after the Friday prayers. A car scuffle in Garawal village in the Upper River region broke out on Wednesday, and a number of 14 people were on Wednesday, and a number of 14 after 2018. Excuse me, on the 14th. That was on the 14th of November 2018. I left one Mohammed Sise dead, and report alleged that Mohammed was stabbed to death by one Bengali Conte, Bilali Conte, with a knife in his stomach, and that the alleged stabber had fled and he is nowhere to be seen. And TRRC, not a witch hunt, but that is the Executive Secretary of the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission, Baba Gale Jallow, has said that the Commission has disclosed that the Commission was not set to witch hunt or prosecute any alleged perpetrators, but to make recommendations for the prosecutions against those believed to have committed such crimes. We are not a witch hunters or perpetrators, including the alleged chief perpetrator Yahya Jammeh. We are independent investigators and we are free from external influence. We do not prosecute but make recommendations for the prosecution, the Baba Gale Jallow told the Foroyaa newspaper. And on the CRC, we'll be talking to their communication officer here about the recent tour of where they met people and asked them several questions. And on the Point newspaper, EU gives 55 million euro budgetary support for the Gambia, and that the European Union has approved and given a new program of a budgetary support amounting to 55 million euros to the government of the Gambia to help the country's sustainable and inclusive growth and good governance. And the state and the resilient building contract will support the democratic transition period. And they also reporting that the government to abolish a death penalty, and Dr. Ismail Assise receives a prestigious Pan-African Award for humanitarian. And on the Gambia Today, the Gambia Today is reporting CRC and National Council for Civic Education officials describes the CRC institution as a political, that is the official from the Constitutional Review Commission and the National Council for Civic Education have described the Constitutional Review Commission institution as a political. The official made this remark during a consultation meeting held over the weekend within the communities in Pakaliba, Bureng in Jara East District, and Soma in Jara West District in the Lower River region. Well, viewers, that's all we have for you today from our papers. Now we'll move on to a story. The spokesperson of the Gambia Armed Forces, Lieutenant Colonel Omar Bojang, has denied reports that sexual misconduct of certain senior military officers abusing female soldiers has taken place in Darfur. He made these remarks during an interview with Lamin Jai. Let's take a listen to the military spokesperson.
And receive 1 gigabyte of internet data for free.
Really?
Yes, get 1 gigabyte for free just by replacing your SIM card at any Africell outlet with no loss of contact. The cost of bundle from the 3G SIM card is the same for the 4G SIM. And guess what? With the 4G SIM card, you can also connect to the 3G network as well.
This is so cool. I'll replace my 3G SIM card right away to the real 4G SIM and receive my very own 1 gigabyte for free.
From Africell, it's always real and it's for free.
Where Africell goes, no one has the speed to follow.
I would like to tell you that this is not a true story, because members of the Gambia Armed Forces are very, very professional, and they have been into the peacekeeping domain for over 3 decades now, and this allegation has never come up. You know, the United Nations frown seriously about issues of sexual harassment and sexual misconduct. And I will tell you with all certainty, and the records are there to prove that none of the members of the Gambia Armed Forces has ever been accused, has ever been questioned, or have ever been caught doing this act. And I am sure that these men who are there are very, very professional, and they will not be able to do such a thing that will bring the bad image of the Gambia Armed Forces.
Did you do any investigation to know whether this is true or not, or are you just saying this out of conjecture? Well,
this is the first time that we are hearing it. I'm just hearing it from you, you understand. And I am sure if it is true, and if whoever is accusing it knows that there is a sexual misconduct body that is responsible for investigating issues of this nature, sexual allegation or sexual harassment at the United Nations level, or discipline and conduct. So the person can go ahead and lay that complaint, and the United Nations will be very happy to investigate this kind of issues. But I want to tell you,
the Gambia Armed Forces have measures in place to regulate the behavior of troops?
Of course, yes. Everybody before you are deployed, it's part of our pre-deployment training. We have what we call the international humanitarian law, gender, child rights, and all other training that are involved and are part of the pre-deployment packages. And this is something that we normally carry out. And also, all our units, we have the military police, we have our legal departments, we have our military intelligence, who are also embedded into the part, and their responsibility is also to check the conduct of our troops on the ground, especially the commanders, the troops, everybody. So and every day we communicate with them, and they always give us very positive report. And even the United Nations, because the Gambia Armed Forces is the one that's responsible for the securing of the force headquarters, and is also responsible for the escort of VIPs. So this shows that the Gambia Armed Forces continue to play a critical role in the protection and in the execution of its duties at the United Nations.
TAF Africa Global is pleased to launch Dalaba Housing Estate. Dalaba Housing Estate is our newest estate located on the Sukuta Jabang Road. You can buy a finished 2 or 3 bedroom house or service plots accompanied with a free fence and gate. At Dalaba Housing Estate, you get to enjoy bituminized roads, gated and fenced properties, solar street lights, water reticulation, public amenities, 1,500 fruit trees aligned in streets, and many more. Make a 40% down payment today and spread the balance conveniently for 10 years with GTBank, EcoBank, and Trust Bank. TAFAfricaHomes.com.
Forces that Lieutenant Colonel Omar Bojang there on the allegations of sexual misconduct of certain senior military officers abusing female soldiers in South Sudan. And on the line now, you may know the United Democratic Party they had a congress, regional congress in all the regions, and yesterday there was one that's supposed to be here, but it was postponed due to a confrontation between the delegates there. And to make sense of all that, I'm trying to reach out the spokesperson of the United Democratic Party, that is Almami Fandin Tal. And we understand that the Congress has been moved to next week, and I understand Mr. Tal is on the line now. Hello, Mr. Tal.
Good afternoon, Omar Wali.
Thank you so much for your time. Afternoon.
Afternoon, sir.
Okay, you understand that there was a Congress, regional Congress by United Democratic Party, but unfortunately for Brikama, it was postponed till next week. What is the problem in UDP? What is going on?
Omar, thank you very much. We welcome this opportunity to clarify matters.
All right.
And we are going through some grassroots democratic processes that our constitution has mandated.
Okay.
These congresses started with from the executive level. It's going up to the executive level, rather.
Okay.
It started from the ward level, and it is now at the regional level. We have constituency congresses also.
Okay.
Now, under the circumstances, what is going on is this. Every region in the Gambia had their congress between Saturday and Sunday. I managed the West Coast, the KNC Congress
Okay.
on Saturday without any incident.
Okay.
Yesterday, when we got to the Brikama venue for the West Coast Region Congress, West Coast, you will remember, has 12 constituents.
Yeah.
And 2 of the constituencies had some issues.
Okay. Such as?
And they are such as the constituency Congress. The MP is claiming, for Sanimentere particularly, the MP is claiming that one of the wards, the Congress, the delegates from that ward were not properly chosen.
Okay.
But according to the rules of UDP, we have to have all these congresses in the witness of either an executive committee member or, if at all, it is a constituency congress in the presence of the regional chairman. In the case of Sanimentere, it's Mr. Yusuf Acham, who is the regional chairman of West Coast region. The MP and Mr. Cham have a disagreement, and UDP has resolved that matter, recognizing the Congress that happened in the Sanimentere constituency.
Now, we understand there was that, like you said, a kind of a scuffle between Yusuf Cham and others. But we also understand that some UDP members were not best pleased seeing the Barrow Youth Movement there. They said they should not be there. Is that also true?
Members of the UDP are members of all kinds of organizations and associations. Anybody who claims to be a member of the UDP is not stronger or bigger than any other member of the UDP. The only place where we can establish authority is at the executive committee level, at the regional level, at the constituency level. If you are an office bearer, one way or the other, in any of these structures of the party, your comments and your statements are the things that people should be relying on. But if 2 people say that I am a UDP member and you are not a UDP member, well, this is up to them. It's a free country. People can make all kinds of claims. What I cannot speak to, Omar, is whether some people are claiming to be this or that. What I can speak to is whether we are having this internal democracy processes of the party. Like I said, this thing is happening nationwide. It is going to culminate in the National Congress next month. And yes, there were some issues, and those issues were resolved by the party. But the MP for Sanimentere has not accepted the decision of the party. Is not satisfied with the decision of the party. In a democracy, when people are dissatisfied, they have to have redress.
Mr. Cha,
you can choose to do other things that are positive.
Let me interrupt you here. For the purpose of clarity, is Barrow UDP or is not UDP? Adama Barrow, the president.
That question you should ask Mr. Barrow.
No. You are the spokesperson of the UDP. No, we know. I know he resigned from the UDP, but from the spokesperson. That's why I'm asking you. Is he or is he not?
Omar, you have your answer there.
No, but I want the answer from you.
No, I mean, what you have already got the answer.
Okay,
Omar.
let me
engaging in something that is already settled.
Let me put it this way. Why is it that we know Barrow resigned from UDP, but Barrow has an ambition to go ahead with his own political, but the United Democratic Party is worried about it? Why are you people so irate under the collar?
We are not worried about it.
Of course you are worried.
I have said this to you before, Omar. What I am saying is that if you want to ask me about our processes, I'm very happy to answer it.
Yeah, but this has to do with UDP. That's why I'm asking you.
No, this is what I'm saying. Our processes are that we have an internal party democratic process.
Okay,
we are going
Mr.
to have a Congress in December, all our issues are going to be established at that level.
Okay, if you, as what you are saying, there's an internal party democracy. Now, you as a spokesperson, if you decide to leave UDP and form your own party, should that be a problem for other UDP members? If you believe in...
No, it shouldn't.
So why then are people so worried about Barrow and his youth movement and trying to say...
Which people are worried?
Of course your people are worried about this thing. The UDP people. Because they said he's not UDP and he want to take some people from UDP. That's why people are not happy with it.
Of Omar, you know, you are a well-known journalist. You are, highly respected as a journalist. If anybody is saying that, ask them who are they to speak for UDP. You've called me because I'm UDP spokesman. If you spoke to Mr. Harmonic Party leader, or if you spoke to the deputy party leader, Mrs. Seka, and they tell you something, then you say that it is UDP. But as a supporter or a militant of UDP, if you have a view, you are entitled to that view.
So, but your supporters and others' view doesn't matter to you. So, what is only the executive or the senior members whose views matters, right? That's what they are putting across to me.
Can you repeat that?
I said, so put quite simply, the rank and files of UDP, their opinions doesn't matter. It is the executive or the senior members of the party whose opinion matters.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the rank and file of UDP are entitled to have any opinion that they have. But that opinion cannot be ascribed to the UDP machinery. Okay. That is why we are having all these internal democratic processes, so that people can be elected by the rest of the rank and file so that they represent them. But we speak in a representative capacity. That's my point.
Okay, as far as we know, is there any power struggle within UDP? Just
there is always a power struggle within a democratic dispensation.
Okay.
People want to have positions, whether it's at the regional level or it's at the executive level.
Okay.
But at every election, that is what you have to prove, whether the people support you or not.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Tal, for that clarification.
It's always a pleasure talking to the Party Network.
Thank you so much. Viewers, that is Almami Fandin Tal. He is a spokesperson for the United Democratic Party. We're discussing about the Congress, which could not proceed yesterday in Brikama due to some challenges. But we'll continue with our military story. The spokesperson of the Gambia Armed Forces also dismissed allegations that there is a corruption and or some senior officials are engaged in corruption in deducting the soldiers serving in the Sudanese Trouble region of Darfur. He has also responded to that allegation during an interview with Lamin Jai. Let's take a listen to the military spokesperson.
The Gambia Armed Forces make certain deductions, and like any other countries around the world, where they send troop contributing countries, contingents, they participate in peacekeeping. Because if you look at the idea of peacekeeping, the United Nations does not have a standby force. They rely on countries to send their troops. And the Gambia, being part of the United Nations, normally send troops as part of a troop contributing country. And the UN does not have weapons. It's the countries that provide those weapons and equipment. And the Gambia Armed Forces, before, normally deduct about 30% from the payment of the soldiers, whatever amount they are paid. And when the new government came, they decided to reduce that from 30% to 10%. That 90% of your earnings, like monthly earning, is given back to the soldiers. This money also being deducted is used to buy equipment, to buy uniforms, to buy even rations, because troops, before they are deployed, they are normally given kind of a departure allowance. That departure allowance cannot be getting from the government. You know, it is through this peacekeeping account where we get that money to give to those soldiers when they're departing for peacekeeping. And also this is where we know maintaining soldiers is very expensive. And this is where we use certain money to purchase our uniform, to add and augment to buy some of our vehicles and also other operational logistics.
But troops are saying that they did an investigation and found out that what they should be getting at the end of a mission goes up to about $2 million. But they're saying that they are getting a mere between $500,000 and $600,000. That's not 10%.
No, let me explain this. What the UN is paying, let's say, is about $1,400, okay, highest, that they pay for these troop contributing countries. And now, once that's amount is
per month.
Yes, that's per month, 1,400. Let's say around that. So, how much is the 10% of that? 10% of that amount is what the armed forces is deducting in order to augment their peacekeeping vote, and in order also to maintain our troops in the peacekeeping. And also, of course, your salary is not stopped. Okay, you are paid home. Meanwhile, you are not providing any service for your home government. This is a contract between the government of the Gambia and the United Nations to send troops to participate in peacekeeping. And your primary responsibility of being employed as a soldier is to protect the territorial integrity of your very country that you are sworn in to serve. So this amount is what we normally deduct to help the soldiers provide equipment and also try to maintain them in the mission areas, and those things are paid for.
But the troops, what they are saying is that these monies are going into the pocket of certain people in the military, the senior military officers.
This is not true. Basically, this amount is been signed before. It's even if it's been maintained by the Ministry of Finance. So if we want to withdraw any amount, it's not at our disposal. We have to write to the Ministry of Defense, and you know that the President is the Commander-in-Chief and Minister of Defense. So we have to seek approval for us to touch that money. So the money cannot easily be diverted and be put into private coffers. That's not true. That's an allegation. That is not true. And the members and our leadership are very concerned. They are very particular about the well-being and the welfare of the Gambia Armed Forces. And, to inform you, like the troops in Darfur are winding down. You understand? And the government and the Gambia Armed Forces is making it, all possible, following all the necessary procedures so that they can increase our participation in the United Nations. Other missions are opening, missions like Mali, missions like Central African Republic and others, because Darfur mission cannot go for eternity.
That was the spokesperson of the Gambia Armed Forces, Lieutenant Colonel Omar Bojang, speaking to Lamin Chai on the alleged claims by some officers that there is corruption and sexual abuse by certain senior officers serving in the Sudanese trouble region of Darfur. Now we'll move on to now. I'm in the studios with Seni MK Marina. He is the head of communication at the Constitutional Review Commission. They have ended a first leg, should I put it that way?
Yeah,
first leg of the tour. And on the North Bank, starting in the North Bank region, and you went all the way to Wuli? Sierra, and you are...
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Marina, thank you so much. Welcome to the Fatu Network.
Thank you very much, Omar, for having me today.
Okay, tell us about people who don't know when you talk about the CRRC and what is the rationale behind this tour? Consultation, if I can put it that way.
Thank you very much. As you know, the Constitutional Review Commission is mandated by an Act of Parliament 2017 to draft a new constitution for the Republic of the Gambia, and by doing so also write a report, after the draft constitution. So as part of efforts to seek the opinions of Gambians from all walk of life, we embark on a public consultation with Gambians to gauge their opinions, what they think should be in the new constitution. So the first leg of the tour ended on Friday, and then we will start our second leg, which will commence on Friday. Basically, our first leg, 14 days, it took us to 28 communities in the North Bank region and also the Central River region and LRR. So we'll be back again to complete the second leg, where we'll be talking to more Gambians about issues, in the issue document that we have drafted, so that at least at the end of the day, we can have a very progressive constitution that will, reflect the wills and aspirations of Gambians. So
let's put it this way. So you are going to meet those people. They are telling you what they want to in the constitution. But people don't agree on. So what are some of the issues that governments are talking about? They want to be in the constitution, and things that they don't want in the new constitution.
Yeah, there have been a lot of contributions coming from the rural communities, and I must admit that the rural communities are taking ownership of the drafting of this new constitution. They told us in our various meetings that this is the first time for the Constitutional Review Commission members to come out from their base in Banjul, to come and meet them at the grassroots level, to tell us exactly what they want the new constitution to look like. And some of the issues that came up during this 14 days public consultation in North Bank region, CRR and URR is the issue of citizenship. The new constitution is looking at who is a Gambian. So we have drafted some questionnaires which we are administering to people to tell us what do they think about these key issues: the issue of citizenship, the issue of death penalty, the issue of presidential term limit. You will see from the consultation that majority of the Gambians want a presidential term limit to be in the new constitution. They also want to see a constitution that will, reflect the collective wills and the aspiration of the Gambian. So we are still, seeking the opinions of the Gambian people. This is an ongoing. It's going to be 51 days crisscrossing the breadth and length of the Gambia, talking to people, to take part in this very important national undertaking.
Death penalty, term limits, even the appointment of the chairman of the Independent Electoral Commission. So, when you were told starting in the North Bank, an imam said death penalty should be in the constitution. Some people said it should not be in the constitution. So when a situation like that arises in drafting, how are you going to go about that thing?
Yeah, Omar, that's a very fundamental question. And then the discussion is currently ongoing, both off and online. At the public consultation, you will hear many people, talking about retaining the death penalty in our status quo. But look, the issue here is, we are facilitating this process. Gambians are the ones taking the lead. Whatever they want in this new constitution will be there, but this has to be in a majority format. So we are continuing our engagement. Majority of the Gambians, in the North Bank region, coming to CRR, want the death penalty to be maintained in our new constitution. Various reasons have been advanced by, those who want the death penalty. Key among them is many people believe that there is a growing threat of insecurity in the country. People will attack you and take your, earnings or your belongings. At the end of the day, problems like a murder comes in. So they want the death penalty to be there so that it can serve as a deterrent for those trying to, come to people, forcefully take their stuff or kill people intentionally. So the debate is going on, and our able commissioners are looking at these issues of death penalty. So at the end of the day, we will write a new constitution. And then after writing this new constitution, we'll go back to the people to validate whether what they say during the public consultation reflect what is in the draft constitution. So death penalty was not only the issue that was highlighted. The issue of citizenship was highlighted. The issue of free education, from lower basic to tertiary institutions was also highlighted. We have what we call our school tour. We targeted schools, and we are doing that as part of our public campaign to get the opinions of the Gambia. We went to more than 15 schools in rural Gambia to engage them so that they can take part, in this very important national undertaking.
So now, for example, like you said, you from the tour, after finishing the whole country, you will come and say, for example, and an old woman in Kudang, your home village, said, okay, I want death penalty to be there, but just as a ceremonial. So you mean, what you're explaining, you will go back to Kudang village again, and you meet that old man, said, well, you said this, you will read to them, and so that they will understand that, well, this is what they want, this is what you said, whether what they said was the right thing or not.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but if that is the case, you want to go again one by one. Do you think you will meet the 18 months target you've given to you?
Yeah, as we speak, the CRC Act gave us 18 months to come out with a draft constitution, for the Republic of the Gambia that will also in the Third Republic. We are on track as we speak because we have almost visited 28 communities in 14 days during our first leg of the public consultation. And our second leg, as I said, will commence next week. We'll spend another 14 days to go to the southern part of URR and also CRR. We will crisscross the entire country. As we speak, the commissioners are working day and night to ensure that we do not, exceed our mandate of 18 months. If the need arises for extension, that will be duly communicated to the Gambian people. But as we speak now, the CRC is on the course to draft a new constitution for the Gambia in 18-month time.
Yeah, the head of the CRC communication, the head of communication.
Yeah.
And someone was here last week and said that some of the laws should not be kicked out. We could have, instead of reviewing the overhauling the whole constitution, they could have looked at the bad ones, knock them off, and bring the new ones. So, at CRC, do you consider his complaint or kind of argument also?
At CRC, we have what we call core values: transparency, ownership, participation is all part and parcel of it. So we value all the contribution coming from the Gambian people. But just to remind your audience, the mandate of the CRC is to review the 1997 Constitution. We have very good laws in that Constitution. We are look at the progressive ones and get the bad ones out. So we are reviewing the 1997 Constitution and at the same time drafting a new one. So you will see at the end of the drafting of the new constitution, we'll also write what we call a report in relation to the draft constitution. This report will highlight issues that are not constitutional matters, but they can advise government to act on them. They are just kind of recommendation, but they are not constitutional matters. And you will see during our public consultation in this rural community, a lot of issues come up. And these issues, some of them are not constitutional issues. That is why the commission will write a report in relation to the draft constitution.
Now, during your tour, and someone wrote on the social media that something that I think not many people are talking about, the caste system. Did you in any way come across that one? Or
no, the issue of caste system, did not surface in any of our meeting. And if my memory serves me well, it's not even part of the 45-page issue document, because we have identified and developed what we call the issue document. This issue document, look at key issues we think are important for constitutional reform. But we are not limiting Gambians to this 45-page issue document. We are opening up so that they can come up with issues they think will be good in the new constitution. Gambians are yearning for a constitution that will empower them, that will reduce the power of the presidency, that will ensure check and balances and separation of powers. And we are in course in trying to seek the opinions of Gambians. And I can tell you, the experience from the field for the past 14 days have been very enriching, and commissioners, as we move on, are evaluating as they move to draft a progressive constitution for the Gambia that will stand the test of time.
Now let's talk about diaspora. They have been in the forefront of so many things, but how can they participate in this? How can they also make sure their voice is heard? How do you do that? Because you will not go to all these European Americas or part of the world to meet them and sit with them. So how can they how can you, the CRC, make sure that their voice is heard?
The diaspora is a very important component of the Gambian population. Diaspora contributes significantly towards the development of this country, and we felt that the diaspora cannot be left behind in this very important national undertaking. That is why we have opened up, a lot of channels where Gambians from all over the world can contribute and take part in this process. One way we want to, engage the Gambians in the diaspora is public consultation. We have, we have come up with a strategy where at the end of our public consultation, in-country consultation here in the Gambia, we'll also reach out to our brothers in the diaspora, at key strategic location where we feel that there are Gambians in their large numbers. So we are going to meet the Gambians, and they will be part and parcel of this constitutional building process. As we speak, the issue document has been widely circulated, and the first people to respond are the diaspora Gambians. This will show to you that Gambians in the diaspora are not left behind in this process, and we urge Gambians in the diaspora to further embrace the work of the CRC to ensure that their voices, their aspirations are reflected in this new constitution that we are working to finalize.
Let me ask you a very personal question. This is not CRC. This is,
but anything I'm saying here, you know, is CRC, so don't bring anything personal. That might be my personal opinion.
Okay, then let me not bring your personal opinion. So finally, what will be your final message?
My final message, I will use this FATU platform to call on Gambians to come out in their large numbers to, you know, take part in our public consultations that are ongoing. Currently, we have an advanced team in the West Coast region. The National Council for Civic Education and CRC, you know, are partnering to also go ahead before us, you know, arrive in those particular communities. So Gambians should come out to take partnership. There are various ways, you know, various platforms where you can contribute to this very important national undertaking. You know, it's be part of the history Gambians are making. You know, we want a very progressive constitution that will stand the test of time. And I'm very happy to say that people are taking ownership, but we want more. More people should come out to be part of this history we are making.
Thank you so much, MK Marena. Saying MK Marena, he is the head of communication and the Constitutional Review Commission. They just concluded the first leg of a nationwide consultation. I will move on to another story. The University of the Gambia Student Week will be selected for 14th to 11th of January 2019. And Mami Sedikan sat down with the president, Farjani, another member of the organizing committee, to ask them a few questions about the event. So let's take a listen to the UTG representatives.
Hello and welcome to the FATU Network. Today I am here conducting an exclusive interview with some students from the University of the Gambia. On my left I have Abdallah Singate, the chairperson of the University Student Week, upcoming event of the Student Week, the chairperson of the organizing committee. And here also on my right I have Fatou Jeng, the president of the Student Union. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, to begin with, Abdallah, people know that the UTG Student Week is coming up. So can you brief us about what the event is all about?
Thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation. So it's said the Students Week is coming and everybody is talking about it. First of all, I want to say it's an annual event that happens, is under the UTG, that's the University of the Gambia's calendar. You know, specifically catered for the students to go outside and then make the best use of that 1 week. Making the best use of the 1 week goes in different dimensions, the academics and also the social life, and also contributing back to the community. These are some of the things, these are the ideals that are underpinned under the reason why the Student Week is in existence. So, as a tradition, it will happen again this year, January, from the 4th to the 11th of January. The Students' Week will be happening in Tendaba, inshallah. Preparation have started. We have an organizing committee that is up and running day to day, doing many things to make sure that we have a successful event. Basically, that's the Students' Week for now.
Okay, that's the Student Week for now. Back to Fatou Jeng, as I mentioned earlier, the president of the Student Union. Jeng, welcome once again. Can you tell us how significant is the Student Week to the University of the Gambia students?
Thank you very much. As earlier alluded by my colleague, that is the chairperson of the University of the Gambia Students Week. This is a week which is set aside by the university calendar to make sure the students of the University of the Gambia from all departments or faculties converge and discuss about pertinent issues that get toward the if you can see, universities worldwide, like we always say, are based on research and publication, as well as some of the community activities that they do. So as university students, we deem it fitting and necessary to also play our part in national development. That is why when we have the students, we don't only socialize and discuss about issues, but we also go to the community, discuss with them about issues which we feel are very relevant. Last year, our team was on climate change, and we were able to plant a lot of trees around the seaside, and we were able to go to the community, to the schools, community leaders, etc., and discuss with them on this issue. So this is the same thing that we're doing this year as well, because we'll go back, have another topic engage them and see what their reaction would be on that particular issue, because we feel that it's our responsibility as students to engage the community, because what we are taught in school or in our classes are just theoretical aspect, but this is meant to implement or practicalize some of the things that we have been taught.
Okay, back to what you said, it's like a platform that will give university students to motivate or to act to national development. So what is the theme this year?
Yeah, the theme is the National Development Plan, that is putting the people first. So we feel that when it comes to developmental issues, sometimes we fail to put the people first. That is, make people know that they have a very active role or crucial role to play in developmental issues. So that is why with this organizing team this year, we decided to come up with this and show people, let people know that they should be put first in terms of issues that have to do with the socio-political, economic development of our country. That is why we came up with this thing.
Okay, back to Abdullah. So who are your target audience?
As the name implies, the Students Week of the University of the Gambia, we targeting the students of the University of the Gambia. We targeting 300 students to be in Tendaba from the 4th to the 11th. As Madam made mention of the team, which is clearly on the development aspirations, and also how we can factor the issue of human development. These are part of the issues that we really looked at prior to the setting of the team for this for the Students Week 2019. We're saying we're looking at redefining development, putting people first. Because if you look at this perspective, this is telling you how we try to factor many sectors of our economy, like the economy, the social disintegrations. But what about our people? When it comes to their development, when it comes to the capacity, when it comes to many sectors of how the society can grow, these are often neglected. So as students of the university, we put the team to be very, very crucial, and this is what is going to shape our discussions. We have several sub-teams as well, which are going to be, one of them will be how best we can have UTG students at the University of the Gambia looking at entrepreneurship as a key component of their livelihood development. Because if you look at the university, we more focus on how best we can do the academic work, at the end of the day be in the offices. But how many of us are preparing our entrepreneurial minds to be able to take up our own initiatives, to be able to come up with solutions to problems that already exist in our communities. It can often surprise you that these are things that are happening, but people are not looking at them. So as a union, we put some of these things into consideration. That's why we said we'll have a sub-team that will look at how best the university students can look at entrepreneurship. From there, we said setting the pace for the national development, promoting peace, security, and tolerance. With all what we say about the development aspects from all the corners, nothing can be possible without our peace, security, and tolerance. That is why we'll have to engage our forever partners. I sometimes call them, that's the armed forces, the police, for their continuous support, because they are coming again this year in this sub-thematic area, where we'll talk to the students how best we can be agents of peace, how best we can become champions of peace, and also how best we can preach this to the communities. As I said earlier on, we'll have communities outreach as well. Madam, these are some of the sub-teams we have. We have a lot of them, and as we go on in the discussion, we'll have to elaborate in some of these very important sub-teams.
Okay, back to you, Evgen. So, university, as we know,
Those were the students of the University of the Gambia. Fat Jeng is the president, and Ablai Singat is the chairman of the organizing committee. They'll be organizing a student week from the 14th to 11th of January 2019. So they had an interview there with Mami Sedikan. Viewers, that's all we have for you today. From me, Omar Wali, and my team, we thank you so much for your time. Till Wednesday.